Hi, welcome back to my channel According to Kat. If you are new here, please introduce yourself in the comments below. If you're returning, just say hi. And what are we making today? Well, today we're doing something a little different. You know I love my neutrals, you know I love my modern farmhouse. Well, today I used color. I used a lot of color. So I'm calling this my color explosion. A lot of color. If you'd like to know what supplies I've used, check out the description box below. And with all that being said, let's get right into the video.
Okay, let's start out with DIY number 1. And the first thing you'll need are 2 8x10 canvases from the Dollar Tree. You'll find them in the Crafter Square section. I also have my Bimini blue paint in Apple Barrel. I'm going to give this first canvas a good coat, and then I will do the same with the second canvas. I did have to go back with a really light second coat, but that was just because I didn't go too heavy-handed the first time, and there were some spots that I thought could use a little more paint. And that once those were dry, I have these Dollar Tree wall stickers. I thought they were so cool looking, and you get 2 sides worth, and I thought these would look so nice on like a canvas as an art piece. I just loved the colors of it, and I just did something really bright and cheerful as the background color, and I think that just stands out so nicely. The stickers stand out so nicely right on top of that really bright blue. I love how that looks. So I am just going around and pressing them on wherever I thought they looked good. And you could Mod Podge this to make it permanent, but in case my daughter would like to change this out, I just left it as a sticker. And another idea would be to take some basswood strips from maybe Hobby Lobby and make a frame, but I actually liked the way I kind of folded it over the edges. I just thought it gave it a really modern look, and I liked the way that looked. On one picture frame I did 3, and on the other one I did 4. Just so it didn't look like matchy-matchy. And this DIY is seriously that easy. This is done. I hope you like this as much as I do.
Looking up at a tree, I remember how it started. I was lost in a dream when the fire in my heart said an open rose. I've already found sunlight, the feeling grows, and anything sounds alright. I'm breaking loose, living in the
Next up,
moment
DIY
in
number
my
2. So the first thing you're going to need is this plastic planner from the Dollar Tree. It is a very deep dark raspberry, even though it is showing up maroon on camera. Also, you are going to need that really pretty infinity scarf, also from the Dollar Tree. I did take off the bottom of that plastic planner just to help me along, and you can see that it didn't really help. I was first going to add Mod Podge on, and this was my way of joining the two together. It did not work. I'm not quite sure if it was because how sleek and slippery and shiny that plastic was, or just the thinness of the scarf. Also, the sides of the planner went at an angle and it didn't go straight up and down. This was a hot mess. And the reason I like to show you my mistakes is because I don't want you to think that all YouTube creators that make these DIY videos, that we all have these perfect DIYs every time, because that's just not the truth. That just isn't what happens. So we all get these problems and we have to find solutions. So I took the other half of the scarf, because I did have the other half left, and I thought, I'm going to find a way to make this work. I ripped off what was on there. I wiped it clean with a baby wipe. It came right up, and I'm trying again. I am literally just using hot glue. I'm going right around the bottom and just hot gluing that to where that bottom base was that I took off. You can see I'm pulling it as tight as I can, and I'm just pulling it to the inside. as I get to the end, I am just putting some hot glue, like a line straight down, and then I'm tucking the rest in. And if you're liking this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel and it lets me know what kind of videos you want more of. So you can see I put some hot glue on the inside and I just pushed that scarf way down in and held it as tight as I could. I'm putting a more hot glue right there on that seam and pulling that over. Little bit on the inside ridge, and I want to cover up that seam just because it's not completely straight. And I just take this blue and white striped ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to go right up the side and down the inside a bit. So I'll just cut that off and put a little hot glue to hold it in place. Now I'm just going to snap on the bottom, and I liked the red showing through. That's why I took it off in the first place. I thought that looked really cute like that, and it just gave it another element of color and dimension and texture. Now I'm putting that can in there just to kind of take up space, and this foam circle from the Dollar Tree, that's going to be like my floral foam, and these picks are succulent picks from the Dollar Tree. I'm just cutting off the edges a little bit. They were a little tall, and I'm just putting them right inside of that foam. I have 3 of those, and I'm just spacing them out pretty evenly. Sound like I said evenly. Now I'm taking these Dollar Tree stones and I'm putting them right inside. Here's another Dollar Tree little succulent pick. And I also have another larger succulent pick I put right in the center. And this is done. I hope you like this as much as I do.
Come a little closer. I wanna dance with you. Everything's moving slower. I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like...
Next up, DIY number 3. But first, I just want to take a quick moment and thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you're not familiar with Skillshare, it is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative people just like us on topics including illustration, design, photography, and even crafting. Skillshare is for so many different levels. You could be a beginner, a pro, or all the way to a master, and you will find so many classes just for you. I love that most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons to fit any schedule. You can see right here on your screen that they're broken up into segments, so you could watch them in like 5-minute increments, or you can watch it all at once. One class that I took that I loved was building an Etsy shop that sells by Parker Guard. I thought it was really helpful because it gave me strategies that I could use when I open my Etsy shop, and it also gave me examples of shops that are successful. I'm so excited because the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So if you would like access to thousands of inspiring classes, make sure you check Skillshare out. Okay, back to the DIY. So the first thing I did was I took this fabric from the Dollar Tree. I thought this was so pretty. I found this in the Crafter Square section, and I'm sure it's for spring. There were some other different choices there, but they all had like bunnies on it or Easter eggs. So this was perfect because it could go for spring or summer, and I loved the way it looked. I just cut out a little piece and I'm putting right sides together. Then I'm taking a pencil and just drawing an outline of a bird. I'm making this freehand and I am not putting too much thought into this. And then I just kind of went back with my Sharpie so that you all could see what the shape of the bird was that I'm cutting out. Now, my first thought was I was going to glue it like this and then flip it inside out so that the edges were nice and clean. But then I decided to go with that whole shabby chic look where you turn it the right way and then you're going to have like a frayed edge. So that is why I did it this way, but you can do it either way. I think it would look cute the other way as well. And you can see I'm just running my fingers right along. I glued a little further in so that I could get some frays going on those edges. And you can see I started right at the top of the bird, and I was going to end at the belly of the bird because you won't see that because it'll be hidden in the nest. So I leave a nice little opening in the belly, and that is where I'm going to add my stuffing. I would say I left about a 2-inch little space just so I could get my fingers in there, and maybe a little wooden dowel so that I can push the stuffing back towards the tail or towards the beak. And that turned out so cute. So here's my stuffing, and you can get it at any hobby place. I got mine at Joann Fabric, and a lot of times I will reuse stuffing from old throw pillows, things like that. So I'm just sticking this in with my fingers, but you could see I have my dowel rod ready so that I can push it up into those little areas where my fingers can't reach, because I wanted to have like a little bit of a pointy tail. I didn't overstuff this, but I did stuff it enough that it gave it a good shape. Now I'm closing up the bottom, and I'm just holding those pieces together and just making sure the bottom was sealed so none of that stuffing came out. Next up, I want to work on the wings. So this fabric I got at a yard sale for about 50 cents. I think I got 4 different types of fabric, and they were about 50 cents each, and they were all so pretty. I'm freehanding 2 sets of wings. I put wrong sides together this time. I didn't make a big deal out of it, and I wasn't wanting it to look perfect anyway, so I didn't like take a shape off of the internet. I just kind of freehanded it and was okay with however it would look. I really did want it to look homemade and not perfect, so that's why I didn't worry too much about the wings. So I just decided to go with regular hot glue, and that was my glue of choice, and that wing stuck perfectly fine to the body of the bird. I only ran a line of hot glue down the back of the bird on one side and the other side, and that's how I glued those wings on. And then I just put a little dot right towards the front of the wing where it's the thickest, and that is it. I left the bottom of the wing open so it kind of looked like it was flowing away from the bird's body. Now I'm taking my big stash of old costume jewelry. I have no idea why the pirate eye patch is in there. That is not my Sunday best. Also, I have no idea why I'm using those big pruning shears to cut little baby tiny beads. Those were like the biggest cutting scissor choice. I have no idea. Like the biggest blades ever. So for the eyes, I needed like a tiny dot of glue, so that's why I went with this super glue gel, because that point is so tiny. And I had those beads that were from a piece of costume jewelry, little tiny black beads, and that was I'm putting those beads in place of the eyes. Now I'm taking some Spanish moss. This is going to be my nest for the bird, and also this Dollar Tree willow wreath frame. Now this is just a piece of cardboard that was from an old ribbon spool, but you could just cut out a circle or not use anything at all. But I like to kind of hot glue the Spanish moss to something so that it holds its shape. And that's how I make my nests. Now I'm taking some scraps that were laying around there, and I'm just putting them on the bottom just so you won't see the bottom of that, just in case when this is hanging up. I don't know why I used the scraps, but that's what I did use. And I'm just forming it with my hand, and you can see how I was doing that and pushing the edges up a little bit. Just taking a little hot glue, putting it right there on the bottom of the wreath form, and just holding that in place a second. Next up, I'm going to put my bird right there in the center of the nest, and I decided to let his tail kind of hang out the back. So cute. This ribbon is from Hobby Lobby, and it looks like a jean that it would be really thick, but it was actually really thin and pliable and easy to manipulate. I made one of the bow's tails longer than the other because you're going to see why. And I burned the edges a little bit just to make them sealed and they won't fray. You can see that I'm taking the bow and kind of skewing it to the side a little bit, right towards the top of the wreath frame. And now I am taking the little dabs of hot glue and making the ribbon tails kind of poof out as they flow down the side. And I really like the way that looked. I did that across the top as well. And I thought it just gave it some more dimension, and I don't know, I like the way it looked. And this is done. I hope you like it as much as I do.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right. Lost in the shadows of a million stars. Shouldn't they enlighten my near and far? Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are? Send a prayer.
So here we are at the final reveal, my favorite part of the video because we get to recap everything we just made. So the first thing we made were these really cool canvases with just some wall stickers from the Dollar Tree. So happy, bright, and cheerful. I love that. Then we made this planter, also so colorful, just with a scarf of an infinity scarf from the Dollar Tree and a plastic planter. Love that as well. Next up, we had the bird in the wreath, very shabby chic and just handmade looking, and I loved this one too. So tell me in the comments below, which one is your favorite? If I had to pick one, I'm picking the easiest one. I loved these canvases, these wall prints. They're so happy, cheerful, and bright. My favorite. Thanks for watching, guys.
So that's it. That's the end of my video. I hope you liked everything you saw here today, and I hope it inspires you to make something of your own. If you have not checked me out at Instagram over at Catluna Designs, please do so. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love if you did. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye! This is your type of, no, I don't want to say that. If you're returning, just say hi. And I don't want to do that today. Anything we're making today, you will find in the Dollar Tree products and other, I don't want to say that. And today we are making, though you know I love to make a lot of, so you know I love to use